you very much. So, good afternoon. My name is Michel. I'm the Senior Vice President of Smart Mobility, Hospitality, and Financial Services in Nexi. I'm extremely proud and very, very happy that I have the opportunity today to speak about Nexi, our strategy, and the way we see, or let's say, how we see the future in e-mobility. Nexi, let's say, before I start to really go into the detail, Nexi was an Italian payment company. But in the last years, we have grown to a really European pay tech. In 2020, we acquired the payment business from SIA. SIA is a quite known payment processor in Italy who also had a quite strong footprint in the CE and in Greece. Then in 2021, we acquired Nets, the quite strong, dominant Nordic player. And a couple of months ago, no, actually 1 month ago, we informed the market about the joint venture we are going to build in Spain together with Banco Sabadell. So you see, with all those different acquisitions, we are now really a quite important player in the European landscape. In my speech today, I will first show you the fragmentation, the complexity of our industry. In the second part, I will show you our e-mobility framework. And of course, I have some real-world examples with me where I will do the transformation from the theory into the practice. Let's start. So here on this screen, you see Europe, quite colorful with all those different countries. And it's actually a quite nice picture to explain the complexity in our industry. We have in Europe more than 150 local payment methods, more than 10 different national debit schemes, Girocard in Germany, Pago Bancomat in Italy, Dancourt in the Nordics. So you see, quite fragmented. And then on top of that, we also have the regulator, which is very important. Don't misunderstand that, please. But with the Brexit in the UK, it's now getting even more complex. An additional regulator where we have to be compliant when we want to do business in the UK. What we have done last year in Nexi is an analysis regarding the purchasing behavior of our customers. And we have learned, which is actually not a surprise, that in the SME market, the purchasing behavior of the customer is very strong focused on local players. Quite simple, quite logic. Because as a small player, or a small merchant, let's say, with 1, 2, 5, 10 stores, you want to offer all local payment methods. When we look to the LACAs, we call them the enterprise business. Actually, I was really surprised that we are all talking about global players, global solutions. But when you look to the LACAs, 75% of them, they prefer also to buy local from a local payment processor. Why? Well, the local payment methods that have to be accepted. It's as simple as that. Based on this understanding of the market, the complexity, and also the different local payment methods, we in Nexi, we have defined by starting 2023 to roll out a new strategy. We want to be considered as a local player. We want to be strong in our home markets. And we want to scale our solutions we have in the market. These are our two fundamental pillars we have defined in our strategy. And I can present that to you, of course, but I think this video is doing it much better than I do.
Can do. No limits, no ceiling, no ground. No pressure gonna hold me down. No stopping till I break every rule. No limits to what I can do.
Brilliant. Proximity, being close to our customer, and scale our solution. Our two important pillars. That brings me now to mobility. From my point of view, mobility is very, very similar like our strategy. It's very strong dominated by local players, even though we have, of course, our international big fuel retailers. But I remember in my previous life in another company, I was responsible for all fuel retailers in Europe, from a payment point of view, of course. And I remember all the discussions we had. We are all looking for a global solution, but in each and every market, there were different circumstances where we had to go into the market with a unique solution. E-mobility is very, very important for us, and we have shaped our own payment framework when it comes to e-mobility. You see here in the white circles the different acceptance points we offer. In-store, outdoor acceptance, and of course the online acceptance in the middle. Of course, we also can, with a token, combine all those different three entrance points into the Nexi universe. And my colleague, Eric, probably he will challenge me on that and he will say, hey, Michel, you need a fourth circle, which is the in-car payment. But I will let you explain it then in your speech. When you enter the Nexi universe, of course, international acquiring, quite a standard product. Acceptance, the pass-through of the local debit schemes to the banks, who are the acquirer of several local brands. Loyalty, which is, of course, a very, very important customer binding element. Issuing, we as Nexi are not only an acquirer, but we are also an issuer of cards. So in Italy, for example, we have our own issuing card, our own credit card, the Nexi card. But what we also offer, and my dear colleague from MasterCard will be very happy when I'm sharing that with you, we also have in our portfolio so-called co-branded cards. So we have customers, they want to launch their closed-loop card, but they also want to add an international scheme, for example, like MasterCard, to have the acceptance around the world. And last but not least, very, very important, and a big trend in our industry, EV charging, where we also have, of course, an end-to-end solution, including the transaction management for an EV charging operator. I want now to transfer this framework from theory into practice. And here we have one of our biggest customers. It's not a secret, E&I. E&I, just to give you the context when we talk about E&I. E&I is operating in Italy 4,000 stations. That's more or less the number one fuel retailer and the number two fuel retailer in Germany together. Just to give you a little bit a feeling. What we have done for E&I, we have offered to them and actually implemented to the market a full end-to-end payment solution. It starts with the terminals, with the acceptance, with the acquiring, with the fuel card processing, and so on. On top of that, we went a step further. We have developed together with E&I also their own app. We have digitalized their fuel card. The fuel card is now a part of the app, so it's embedded in the app, and much more. So E&I is for us, of course, a very important customer, but please don't misunderstand, we also serve other important customers on Earth, and we like all of them. Don't misunderstand, please. A second example I very much like is Telepass. I'm quite sure what you see now in front of your eyes is the holidays, right? I mean, Telepass, you have to pay the tolling and then you drive with your family to southern Italy. Telepass, I have to admit, I was very, very surprised when I have learned the ecosystem of Telepass. We all mean that, yeah, Telepass, tolling, that's it. No. If you're an Italian, then you know the Telepass ecosystem, which is actually extremely, extremely powerful. The Telepass app, of course, you can pay your tolling, you have a dongle in your car, and then you can just pass through. That's the basic. But Telepass offers more than 30 different services. With your Telepass app, you can buy actually food at Autogrill. You can buy your train, bus, metro ticket. No problem, you can do that. You can even go to Cortina d'Ampezzo for your ski holidays, and you can buy the ski pass, also with Telepass. I think Telepass is a perfect example where payment has supported and helped to create an ecosystem out of one service to more than 30 services. On top of that, Telepass is now also extremely busy with entering new markets, as you can see here on that map. Actually, with Telepass, you can already go to France, Spain, and Portugal, sorry. And in the B2B business, they are even further. You can also go into the Nordics. And last but not least, the example I have shared before with the co-branding card. Also, Telepass has issued their own credit card that can be used in the closed loop, in their own Telepass network, but also co-branded with MasterCard around the world, which is quite a nice story. I have to admit, in the last days, I haven't found really an end of my speech. But yeah, really. But then yesterday evening, I had, that's also why I have submitted my presentation very late yesterday. I had a call with the product manager from Nexi, a colleague of mine, and he told me, Michel, when you are talking about Telepass, there's one important statement that you have to give to the market. And I said, what? And he said, we didn't tokenize the card. We tokenized the customer experience. Thank you very much for your attention.